Okay, so today we're going to talk about the outstanding opportunity of becoming a farmer's insurance agency owner. I was an agent before I became a district manager, so I'll be able to guide you through the process of starting up your agency and steer you clear of the things not to do in your first year and beyond. One of the first things that I didn't do that I should have done was getting my securities licenses during the onboarding process. I waited until about a year in, which is when you're really getting into the meat and potatoes of agency ownership, managing staff, hitting sales goals, needing to sell, on your own. And it's tough. It was tough to budget time for studying and, do all the things that I needed to do as an agency owner. So it really was kind of stressful, to pass the exams and do all the things I needed to do. You can avoid that by getting it all done up front, which I strongly encourage. Owning a farmer's insurance agency is really, in my opinion, the best opportunity for business ownership out there. When I was thinking of owning a business, starting a business, basically just not wanting to work for someone else, I looked into a lot of things. I'd had some background in restaurants and, thought about McDonald's and Fatburger. Actually, there was at the time no real burger place down at Point Ruston, so I was like, oh man, I'm from California, I want to open a Fatburger. And it was millions, just in startup costs to get things going. And it's real money that you had to have arranged to pay for these things. And with farmers, you just simply don't have to do that. Farmers will never ask you for any money, and the training that's provided is provided at no cost to you. Next is why. Why be a farmer's agent? And one of the biggest benefits to being a farmer's agent, farmer's agency owner, is that a lot of the things that you have to do currently as a W-2 employee working for someone else kind of goes out the window. You don't have to ask for time off. If you need to be off early to go see the kids play soccer, you're going to be able to be there, because who are you going to ask? Yourself. Now that does come with some pitfalls. There will be times where you know that you're not doing the best you could because you're it's like the tree branch, you have so many years of having to ask and schedule time off and do all these things and vacations, and then it's like you don't have to ask anybody these things, and you'll come to kind of a balance, in the middle where you're like, okay, I got to take reasonable time off. I still have this, this business to run, and hitting the goals, for both yourself and your staff. Now we'll get to the part that everybody's, curious about, which is how the money works. And it's really pretty simple. You have personal lines. We'll start off with how that works. Basically, your home, your auto, your umbrella, and later in your training, we'll get into what all of those things are and how they work. But I'm sure you've all had an auto policy, you've had a homeowner's policy before, and maybe an umbrella. But basically, you have, let's just say that you start off with auto, and auto policies renew every 6 months with farmers. So you sell in the month of January, let's say you do $2,700 in commissions. And again, you'll get paid on that in July. So every 6 months, these auto policies will renew, and you'll get another $2,700 in July. Then you have February. Same thing, February and August. So whatever your production is in February, let's say it's another $2,700, you'll get paid that again in August. And so you can see how the months, as it goes on and on, with March, you'll have September. And these just basically compile over, the course of a year. And then you have your home, which is a 12-month policy. Homeowners and umbrellas are 12-month policies. So in the anniversary month, you wrote it in January, you'll get it again in January. Same thing with the umbrella. So this really just stacks up over time, and that is how you build your stream of income over a period of years. This really becomes a situation where it's kind of on cruise control. You have your staff doing the service and answering questions and adding vehicles, and we do what's called farmers friendly reviews. So you can sometimes pick up information like, oh, they got a boat or they bought a second home, and you're adding policies to that, and you're getting referrals from these guys. One of the best practices is to send out a newsletter, so that your clients can stay in touch with the agency, even if they're not doing something like adding a vehicle or buying a product from you. You're creating kind of that family environment, which is another thing that I've really enjoyed. Is a lot of my customers have become friends, so you get to know what's going on with them, and it builds that loyalty and kind of that glue that holds your relationship together with them, which leads us into the products that we have available for our customers. And we have really all the cutting edge technology. We have a relationship management tool called Apex, which keeps all of your tasks straight, your communications with your clients, keeps all of that, a record of all of it. It does require your input in there, but it's very important that you have notes so you don't lose track of communications and conversations you've had with your customers. It enables the agency owner, you, to stay in touch and really be able to facilitate business with your clients anywhere. You can do it over the phone with them, online with them. You can go to their business and still be able to log into the system and provide products and services for them to purchase. Even our business clients, we can access the system and sell them a policy right on the spot, wherever we meet them at. And so the way that the product lineup looks is you have farmers for home, auto, and umbrella, and there are different categories that people fall into as far as our what's the word I'm looking for our evaluation of their worthiness of having a policy with our company. And then we have Bristol West, which is auto only, and it's our non-standard brand. So if they haven't had continuous insurance for 6 months, then they wouldn't qualify with farmers, but they would qualify for Bristol West. Then we have our specialty product, which is Foremost, and that's all the toys. That's your boat, RVs, your ATVs, and jet skis, motorcycles, and also your we have the ability to write home owners insurance through their landlord protector, which is, if you own a home and you want to rent it out, then that's the policy that you'd want to obtain as a landlord protector. Through Foremost, we write mobile homes, we're one of the only companies that will do that, manufactured homes, and we can also do vacant policies for course of construction. So if you know any people that do flips on homes, or they buy them and fix them and run them out, we can do that also. Course of construction is a big deal around here in Washington. We also have Farmers New World Life, and we're one of the only, let me rephrase that. We are the only company in the state of Washington that has a graded death benefit, which is for people who wouldn't otherwise qualify for life insurance. That allows us to help more people, and it really is nice, when you get folks that have serious, medical problems that do need life insurance. It's up to $30,000 that you can provide for them, and it does build a cash value over time. Lastly, but not least, is commercial. So we can write business insurance for really a wide range of businesses, and if it doesn't fit into what Farmers wants to do, we call it an appetite. Then we have a brokerage called Craft Lake that Farmers owns, and we can write just about anything else that Farmers wouldn't want to do into one of the many companies that are comprised of Craft Lake. We are very good at writing contractors and what we call habitational, so apartment complexes and homes and people that are businesses that own a lot of, single family homes and rent those out. So you really have a lot of access to products. Pretty much anyone that you would run into that says, hey, I have a need for insurance, we have something for them. And that really just makes it to where, you get to be a professional agent, that does everything. There are a lot of companies out there that really limit what their agency owners can sell. Some companies don't even provide the products that we offer. So it really makes us, kind of a cut above all the other companies that are out there. Last, we're going to talk about the benefits to the agency owner. From a financial standpoint, what's available to you. You have what's called a simple IRA and a SEP IRA. And what those are, if you haven't ran into them before, similar to 401ks, but really tooled into a small business setting. A simple IRA, the way it functions is most closely to how a 401k would work. It's a smaller matching requirement that you have versus a 401k. But what this does is it offers you the ability to really attract and retain good staff. They want to have benefits, and this is one of the benefits that you can arrange for them. Whatever you contribute to their matching and whatever you contribute for yourself is all pre-tax, so your tax burden is reduced. Next, you have the ability to be an incorporated business entity or an LLC, which means that you can pay yourself as a W-2 employee, and the payroll tax that you pay on your wages as well as your staff's wages reduce your tax burden. So I definitely would recommend doing one of these business entities, and make sure that you have the S election in there. And that's definitely, I'm not a tax person. You definitely want to have a great tax consultant, CPA, a firm that does these things, because you really are entering into the big time as a Farmers Insurance Agency owner. This is not something to take lightly when it comes to accounting, and it's really pretty easy. You don't have a whole lot of moving parts, your fixed expenses with your rent and small amount of utilities. The biggest part is going to be, your staff and your marketing. Okay, so next up is your ability to obtain a permanent life insurance policy. And what's cool about that is, depending on which one you pick, you have the ability to accumulate a cash value, a contract value with this policy. Once you have a substantial amount of value in there, you can take loans against it without it reporting to your credit. If you need to withdraw money up to 70% of the value, you can withdraw, and there's no taxable event for that. And the loan itself also no tax. It's not considered income. It's a very cool feature to the permanent life insurance that'll really set you up for success if you need to take out a loan later on down the road for staffing, or you want to do a purchase or down payment for your building that you're occupying. That's a great tool to do it. It also can supplement your income or your retirement income when the time comes to sell your agency, which is what we'll talk about next. You have what's called contract value that builds over time, and this is something Farmers does for agents, that is based on your time as an agency owner, the policies in force that you have, and the premium that you have, and you get to control all these things by your performance. The amount of policies that you sell, your retention, basically all your best practices that will show you step by step on how to maintain an agency, basically, so that you can build all of this. And this is something where Farmers will pay you if you just want to sell at some point and you don't want to go through the process of selling to an incoming agent, which is an option. Farmers will pay you your contract value so you can retire. What's great about this opportunity is that you get to sell your agency to an inbound agent when you're ready to go. And there's a process for doing that. There's a metric for what you can ask for it. And then there's also what we call family rights. Family rights, in my opinion, is one of the greatest features to being a Farmers Insurance agency owner, because if you're like me, you may have a couple of kids, and one of them may express interest in owning a business, and they may like insurance because you did it. So you can pass it down and imagine all the money that you can make. And now your son or your daughter has the ability to get that step ahead in life. You can have them work in the agency for a little bit, learn the ropes, and when you're ready to go, you can turn it over to them and they'll be set up for life. A lot of these agencies that are out there, there's some great income running through our agencies, and it's really a good way to set up a legacy for your kids. So last thing we'll talk about is on the financial services side, you have the ability to do a couple of different things. Deferred compensation, you can set aside up to 50%, as little as 10% of your renewals to go into a deferred comp plan. And that supplements your income as well. You really can create a lot of streams for your retirement. So deferred comp, when you participate in that, you're also decreasing your tax burden at the same time as you are increasing your retirement income. And then you also, any mutual funds that you want to invest in, you're buying those at what we call NAV, or net asset value, because you're a securities licensed agent. That's one of the perks that comes along with that. So investing is a thing that you can do. We have tons of access to a bunch of different companies, fund companies that you've heard of, Franklin Templeton and ICA, Athene. We have really pretty much anybody who's anyone in the industry, BlackRock, you name it, we have them. So yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I'd be happy to bring you on board and walk you through the process. Any questions you may have, just let me know.